Hello everybody, welcome to another Season 6 Patch 5.24 guide. In this episode, we are going to cover AD carry Lucian, aka Double Gat Obama. In Patch 5.24, Lucian is a god tier champion. He received multiple buffs a long time ago which made him more viable than he was before, and now with the new Essence Reaver which gives 3% mana return on crits, he is now very good since he really relied on his mana in lane. Lucian doesn't have as much sustained damage as some traditional AD carries, however his burst is much higher than most. In this guide we're going to cover his pros and cons, his masteries, runes, summoners, his abilities, his ability leveling order, his item build, and some general info and tips as well. First we're going to look at his pros and cons, starting with his pros. The first being he has high mobility. He gets increased movement speed when he hits his target that has W on him, which allows him to move around the fight much more effectively. As well, he has a built-in escape. He's able to dash around the fight fairly often with his E because of the cooldown reduction he gets from the ability. This, combined with the movement speed I talked about on the W, makes him a pretty slippery AD carry in a team fight. Lucian's next pro, as I kind of mentioned before, is that he is extremely bursty. All of his abilities do high damage, and with the way his passive works, he's able to get off extra attacks. He can first E in to make sure he's in range, auto attack to get the passive, then W to get the passive, then Q to get the passive, and do ridiculous damage in a really quick amount of time. Lucian's also got pretty good poke harass in lane, which is somewhat similar to Miss Fortune's Q. His shot doesn't bounce back like hers, however it does make a lightning streak basically behind the target that he attacks and hits anything behind it. A pro for Lucian specifically is that his mana issues were fixed with the Essence Reaver. As I mentioned before, he gets 3% of his total mana back whenever he gets a crit. And of course this can equate to a shitload of mana if he has high crit chance, which obviously we're going to build. Lucian's last pro is that he's very strong early and mid game. With the way his passive works, he's able to get off extra attacks, which of course the other AD carries in the game do not get. His Q also has a very high AD ratio, so if you do get hit by it, you're going to take a lot of damage. All of his abilities used in quick succession, with his passive being utilized as best as possible, makes him do very high damage, which is even better in the early and mid game. The first of Lucian's cons is that he has very low range. However, his W and Q range is rather decent, and of course the culling has a very long range as well, so the abilities are nice range, however his auto attacks are not. The only other con I can really think of, which is fixed with the Essence Reaver when you do get it, is that he's mana hungry early on. All of his abilities cost a ton of mana and you need to spam them as much as possible, so you're getting off your passive harass as well. Thing is, you're not really able to do this until you get the Essence Reaver, so of course we rush the Essence Reaver as fast as possible to help with the mana issues. Now we look at his masteries, which are 12 Ferocity and 18 Cunning. In Ferocity, we get Fury for 4% attack speed, and Feast for killing a unit restores 20 health, which is on a 25-second cooldown. We then get Vampirism for 2% lifesteal, so you have better lane sustain, and then finally, Oppressor for deal 2.5% increased damage to targets with impaired movement. We then go into Cunning by first getting Savagery, which is 5 bonus damage to monsters, so we're able to last hit better. Then we get Secret Stash for potions and elixirs last 10% longer, and health pots are now replaced by biscuits. This can help with your mana issues somewhat. We follow this up with Merciless, which is deal 5% increased damage to champions below 40% health, and then move into Dangerous Game, which is champion kills and assists restore 5% of your missing health and mana. Next we get Precision, which is 5 plus 0.5 per level armor pen and 3 plus 0.3 per level magic pen, and finally the most overpowered ability this patch is Thunderlord's Decree, which is your third attack or spell on an enemy champion calls down a lightning strike. This makes you do even more burst. Lucian's runes are nothing special. We get 9 greater marks of attack damage, 9 greater glyphs of magic resist, 9 greater seals of armor, and 3 greater quintessences of attack speed. Now I'm sure you guys have seen these runes many times, as they are currently the cookie cutter AD carry runes. With these runes you get as much additional damage as possible while also getting as much tankiness as possible. We then move into his summoners, which are very traditional as well. They are Flash and Heal. Flash is used for chasing, escaping, repositioning, and much more. Heal gives you both health and movement speed, which gives it more than one use. It can be used for escaping and kiting, as well as heal yourself or your teammate. With all that covered, we're now going to look into each of Lucian's abilities, starting with his passive, which is called Light Slinger. After using an ability, Lucian's next basic attack within 3 seconds shoots twice, dealing between 30 and 60% AD physical damage, which is 100% AD against minions, on the second shot, which also applies on-hit effects and can critically strike, with its bonus critical damage halved against champions and monsters. If Lucian's primary target is killed before the second shot can go off, he automatically shoots another enemy. This ability right here is one of the main reasons Lucian can be so bursty. You pretty much want to use this like you would use a Trinity Force, using one ability, then using this, then ability, using this, and so on. By doing that, you're making sure that you get off the passive every single time. Each of these secondary attacks, following each of your skills, can add massive damage, considering they can even crit. Now we jump into his Q, which is called Piercing Light. After a 0.35 second delay, Lucian fires a laser in the direction of the target enemy, dealing physical damage to all enemies in a line. The physical damage is between 80 and 200, plus between 60 and 120% bonus AD. The range is between 500 and 1100, the cost is between 50 and 70 mana, and the cooldown goes from 9 to 5 seconds based on the rank. The first thing you notice in this ability is that it's got both high base damage and the bonus AD can be massive as well. The max rank of 200 base damage with 120% bonus AD is more than most abilities are in this game. Because of this and the fact that the cooldown goes to 5 at max rank, we max this first. So some of you may be wondering why the hell is there two ranges, and I'll quickly explain that. The first range of 500 is the range that you can actually use your Q on. Now the range of 1100 is the maximum range that the lightning streak shoots out. If you know Miss Fortune's Q, this kind of works in the same way. So if you target a minion, for instance, at 500 range and there is an enemy champion at 1100 range from you, it will also hit them. Now, unlike Miss Fortune's Q, this does the same damage no matter if it is the targeted minion or the person hit behind it. Now we look at his W, which is called Ardent Blaze. Lucian fires a shot that explodes in a cross pattern upon hitting an enemy or reaching the end of its path, dealing magic damage, marking enemies hit for 6 seconds, and granting sight of them for the duration. The magic damage is between 60 and 220, plus 90% AP. If Lucian or allied champions damage a marked target with basic attacks or abilities, he gains bonus movement speed for 1 second. The bonus movement speed is between 60 and 80. The range of this ability is 1000, the cost is always 50 mana, and the cooldown goes from 14 seconds to 10 seconds at max rank. Now this is a great ability due to the bonus movement speed you get from hitting a target that is marked with your W. However, as you can see, it does scale off of your AP, so it is not that great in the overall. The damage is still rather nice, however, in the early game, as you can toss it out and do a bit of extra harass and get more passive procs. Lucian's last basic ability is Relentless Pursuit, and it is his E. Lucian dashes a short distance. That's kind of hard to say. Anyways, Relentless Pursuit's cooldown reduced by 1 second for each of Light Slinger's strikes, doubled to 2 seconds against enemy champions. Relentless Pursuit also resets Lucian's auto attack timer. The range of this ability is 425, the cost goes from 40 to 0 mana, and the cooldown goes from 18 seconds to 14 seconds at max rank. Although this is not actually damage base, we still max this after our Q since the cooldown of your escape goes down, as well as having no mana cost. This ability is what helps Lucian become a god tier champion, as he also has a built-in escape in his kit. And considering it will eventually have no mana cost and the range is fairly high for an escape, it's pretty much the best AD carry escape in the game. Now for Lucian's last ability, which is called the Culling, and it is his ultimate. Lucian fires shots in the target direction for 3 seconds, dealing physical damage to the first enemy they collide with. The damage is quadrupled against enemy minions. While using the Culling, Lucian cannot attack or use damaging abilities, but can move freely and activate Relentless Pursuit. He also ignores unit collision for the duration and can only be interrupted by crowd control that inhibits Lucian's abilities to use basic attacks. The Culling can then be reactivated to end its effects immediately. Now for the damage of the Culling, which is pretty insane. It is between 400 and 1500, plus between 400 and 600% AD, and plus between 200 and 300% AP. The shots fired are between 20 and 30. The range is 1400, the cost is 100 mana, and the cooldown goes from 110 to 90 at max rank. Now as you can see, the range is pretty high on this attack, so you are able to get off this channeled ultimate from far away and do massive damage to the enemy team. It is in a fixed direction, however, which can be annoying, but as long as you know how to use this ability, that may not matter at all. The fact that you can activate Relentless Pursuit, which is your E during this, and reposition can also help with that. This ability a long time ago used to be rather mediocre, however now it's what makes Lucian ridiculous. With all of his abilities covered, we now look at his ability leveling order. So first, you take the Culling, which is your R, and you take it whenever you can, meaning level 6, 11, and 16. Next is your Piercing Light, which is your Q, You take it at level 1, and it is your main basic leveling priority. So you take it at 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Next is your E, which is called your Relentless Pursuit. You take it at level 2, and it is second in leveling priority. So you take it at 2, 8, 10, 12, and 13. Finally is your W, which is called Ardent Blaze. You take it at level 4, and it is last in leveling priority, meaning you take it at 4, 14, 15, 17, and 18. Now we're going to jump right into Lucian's item build, which starts with a Doran's Blade and a health pot. We then rush into an Essence Reaver. It's an amazing item on Lucian because it has attack damage, crit chance, CDR, and the crits restore 3% of your maximum mana, which is insanely good on Lucian considering he has mana issues. We then followed up with an all-around good AD carry item in the Rapid Fire Cannon. We then get Berserker Greaves and an Infinity Edge. We then get Bloodthirster so we have more sustain, and a Lord Dominik's Regards because we love Armor Pen on AD carries. Some good alternatives to this would be getting a Maw if you needed some MR and some more CDR, a Mercurial Scimitar if you were against a Zed or something that you needed a cleanse against, and a Death Dance. In summary, Lucian only does decent sustain damage, however, he does have some of the burst of any AD carry out there. He's also an extremely fun AD carry to play, and of course, dual wielding pistols is frigging awesome. He's a bit different than a traditional AD carry because he's basically got a built-in Trinity Force in his kit. You have to get used to the fact that you have to wait between each of your abilities to make sure you get an attack off. He's certainly not like a Graves, which just spams every single fucking button he has to get off all the damage he can instantly. Just learning how to use your passive properly will be a big boost in your Lucian gameplay. That pretty much covers it for this guide on Lucian. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video. We are almost at 200 subscribers at the time of this recording, so that is really awesome considering we were at a very low number not long ago. I really love each of you subscribers, and I appreciate every single comment and likes up you guys give me. If you guys have any champions you'd like to see, I'll make sure to add that onto the list of guides to make. However, it is honestly kind of long right now, but I will make sure I make every single one you guys want. Thanks again for watching, and I hope I see you guys in the next guide. Take care.